Are you ready for the deck that's been living in my head rent-free all month? What's good? Welcome back to the channel. I could not be more excited to talk about today's deck profile.
I am the heart! Kill him!
This is Super Sablezard, Sablezard 2, the sequel. Oh my goodness. Huge shouts to Tyler before I forget. Real one, man's working in the background with me. We have been working on this deck all freaking month. Big fan, love the deck, slept on. Takes everything you loved with Sablezard and gives it the power to keep up. If you want to check something else out, another video, other ways to play, be sure to check those out. It really helps the channel, tier list on the channel, the whole shebang, the YouTuber thing. But I really need to get into this deck profile because I'm going to vibrate out of the chair with excitement. We finally nailed out a strong 60. With that said, get her going. 4 copies of Comfey. So Comfey, you know the drill. Flower selecting, take 2 cards off the deck, keep 1, put the other in the lost zone. We're pushing for that magic 4, 7, 10. 4 is huge, 7 not so much, 10 is monumental. So keep that in mind. We are playing 2 copies of Cramorant. Cramorant at 4 attacks for free. So once we get 4 cards in the lost zone, we're hitting for 110. We do want to go first with this deck, but in the rare instance we have to go second, push to that 4 number. 4 is crucial. We want the pressure, we want the damage. And when we hit that magic 10 spot, we have Sableye, so Lost Mine. You can use this if you have 10 cards in the lost zone, put 12 damage counters on your opponent's Pokemon in any way you like. This is cleanup, this is destruction, this is absolute chaos. Sableye is broken. We are playing 3 copies of the 60 hit point Charmander. Doesn't matter which one you play. No, 151 drops at the end of the month. Pick up the 70 hit point ones, non-negotiable. You'll thank me later. And this is what I mean when the fates aligned, and I said I wasn't going to talk about it, but I did. We're playing 3 EX. We are playing the beautiful illustration rare. We are playing the Altar, the gold rare. I said I wasn't going to play the deck. Card said otherwise. I got extremely lucky, so I had to talk about it. Charizard EX has an ability. When you evolve into this Pokemon, search your deck for 3 fire energy, attach them to your Pokemon in any way you like. A scaling Burning Darkness attack for 2 of those fire energy does 180 and 30 more for each of your opponent's Pokemon. As the game progresses, you go 180, 210, 240, 270, 300, 330. So we can hit anything in the game. Sableye can also fix our numbers, so that 180 is not as bad, that 210 is not as bad, so on and so forth. Sableye is the cleanup crew, Charizard is the wrecking ball. We got both. And the last 2 in the deck, Radiant Charizard, because 3 was not enough. Excited Heart, because we're excited today. This Pokemon's attack is colorless less for each prize card your opponent's taken. As the game progresses, we don't mind giving up a prize because it's going to help us play the game and do silly things. Combustion Blast for 5 energy, but again, it gets cheaper as the game goes. 250, can't attack, that's fine. So we have the intervals I just mentioned, the 250 I just mentioned, Sableye to kind of smooth things over. What's not to like? We've got a lot of beauty things here. And of course, we play 1 Manaphy. The whole deck crumbles like a house of cards if you do not play Bench Barrier Manaphy. So it protects all your bench Pokemon while it's in play. Copies of Colress. Colress's Experiment. It's key to the Lost Engine. Look at the top 5 of your deck, put 3 into your hand, 2 into the Lost Zone. Picking your key resources is very nice. It allows us to look. So a couple Comfeys, couple Colress, Crams in play, another Colress next turn, couple Comfeys. You're usually pretty much knocking on that doorstep of 10 rather quickly. Turn 3 is where you should realistically hit the 10 in the Lost Zone. Sometimes you get lucky and you get there on turn 2, but turn 3. Keep that pacing in mind, keep that same energy. Playing 2 copies of Klara. So this does keep true with the old Sablezard. Choose one of these effects or both. Choose 2 Pokemon from your discard pile, put them into your hand. 2 basic energy from your discard pile, put them into your hand. We're not playing 1, we're playing 2. We want to reuse Sableye's, we want to get our Charmanders back, we want to get our Cramorants back, we want to get our Radiant Charizard back. Sometimes we lose a Charizard EX, we want to get that back. We're going to constantly recycle resources, and Super Rod is nice, but we want them in our hand. Sometimes we play the 1 prize game and the EX never hits the board. So we want to be able to use 3, 4, 5, 6 Sableye. You want to be able to recycle those Charmanders because they're going to pick those off. They don't want the EX hitting the board. We just want to be able to plop them down, get in the game, smack them again. Sometimes you get 3 uses out of Radiant Charizard. That might get you over the line right there. Playing 1 copy of Raihan. It lets you take a basic energy from your discard pile, attach to one of your Pokemon, search for any card. This could be Rare Candy, this could be Sableye, this could be anything in the deck we're missing. Could also fetch the EXs if you need it, or a Path Bump, or anything along those lines. Raihan, 1 is nice, 2 is a brick. 1 copy of Boss's Orders, because sometimes we just want to pick what we're going to finish. They want to try to hide something from us. Usually Sableye gets it. or Charizard gets to go front line and deal with it. Boss, if you want a 61st card, second boss, totally get it. We're playing 4 stadiums, 3 beach court to give our Pokemon 1 less retreat cost. Everything in the deck moves for free, aside from Radiant Charizard and Charizard EX, but that's fine. Usually when they hit the active, they're not leaving it until they've been knocked out. 1 copy of Artazon. Once during each player's turn, you can search your deck for a basic Pokemon that doesn't have a rule box, put it into play. Perfect. We have 4 stadiums. We're not losing that war. Path to the peak and go somewhere else. We're not worried about it. Playing a necessary evil for Battle VIP Pass. First turn of the game, we need that explosive draw. We need multiple Comfeys. We need a couple Charmanders. Not every Charmander makes it up to the big boy stage, so we need at least, I'd say 2 of them, ideally. And this helps us get there for now. So on the first turn of the game, you can play this card. If you do, search for 2 basic Pokemon, put them onto your bench, shuffle your deck. After the first turn, they're dead. Throw them away, flower selectings. If you pull one, easiest decision of your life. 4 copies of Switch Cart. So it moves a basic Pokemon from the active to the bench. If it does, it heals 30. Moves everything aside from Charizard EX. Great, very straightforward. Sometimes we do have to move Charizard EX. Play Escape Rope. Your opponent moves their active to the bench, then we move our bench to the active. We play 8 switch outs, plenty. With the beach court, we're playing 11 outs to move our Comfeys around. It shouldn't be that hard to get to 10. It will be very, very easy to get to 4 unless you brick, but you know what? That happens. It happens. I'm not above saying that. We are also playing 3 copies of Nest Ball. 4th copy is an Artazon. If you don't like Artazon, put it back as a Nest Ball. Search your deck for a basic Pokemon, reveal it, put it onto your bench. Sometimes we need some cards after the first turn. That's where Nest Ball comes in, increasing our odds. Playing 3 copies of Rare Candy, so it lets us cheat our Charmanders up to Charizard EX. Charizard EX is where the magic happens, where great things go off, where the deck really pops. So we want to see 3 because we're going to Lost Zone 1, we're going to prize 1, and just naturally drawing into them is a little harder when they're in lower counts. So 3 is nice, 4 is too much, 2 is not enough. Argue with me in the comments. Playing 2 copies of Fog Crystal. Search your deck for a basic Psychic Energy or a basic Psychic Pokemon. Looking at you, Sableye, looking at you, Comfey. We do play Psychic Energy in the deck, so you do want to find a way to get those, as they're not as easily searched as Infernal Rain grabs our Fire Energy. This lets us do that. We are playing 2 copies of Pokegear. So look at the top 7 cards of your deck, reveal a supporter card you find there, reveal it, put it into your hand, shuffle the other ones back. It feels like you're playing 6 Colress. It feels like you're playing 4 Klara, or extra ways to dig. Sometimes Iono puts cards out of reach. I'm not going to play Lumineon in a list like this, just do not recommend. And we play 3 one-of item cards. Play 1 Hisuian Heavy Ball because the game is really, really in trouble if we prize Manaphy. Play 1 Lost Vacuum because it helps our Lost Zone count and it can serve as a stadium bump. But realistically, it helps our Lost Zone count. So sometimes we get up to 8 on turn 2, and Lost Vacuum can help us push up to 10. Multi-purpose card, so what's not to like? And 1 Super Rod. So Super Rod lets us shuffle up to, in any combination, 3 Pokemon basic energy. Most times we're shuffling back energy, like Fire Energy, so we can reuse Infernal Rain if we get a second Charizard into play. Other times it's, you know, if everything's gone really poorly, we're getting back Cramorant, Sablezards, Charmanders, you know. Typically Klara will grab the Pokemon. The Super Rod will grab the Fire Energy. 5 Fire Energy. We're going to put 1 in the Lost Zone. That's not too bad. Infernal Rain grabs 3. That's all we want. 2 extras just in case. Prizing, you name it. And we play 3 Psychic Energy. So 3 Psychic Energy, 5 Fire. And the reason is we're going to prize 1. We're going to Lost Zone 1. We only need 1 Psychic Energy throughout the run of a game. Fog Crystal makes it feel like we have 5. This is the deck list. So some tips and tricks of the deck. This is Sablezard on steroids. So if you've played that deck, you're pretty confident with that. But let's say you haven't. Unfortunately, we don't race to 10 as quickly as normal Sablezards. That's fine. Aim for the Cramorant. Cramorant is the safe play. Make sure you're at least putting damage on the board. That's fine. Charmander's on the back foot. If your opponent decides to pick those off, I get that. That's why we play 2 or 3. Sableye can really get you over the line on some setup decks. You can pick off a Gardevoir setup. Really don't have to put a multi-prizer in play until we want to. This is really my go-to list, the starting point. Cards I want to talk about. You feel like 3 EXs is too much? Heaven's graced me with this. You can cut 1, put an Ultra Ball. It discards VIP. It grabs what you need. If you want to play a second Manaphy and Heavy Ball, I get that. Sometimes you have to protect from canceling Cologne. That's a Sablezard issue. You would like a second Boss's Orders. I get that too. First card I'd probably pull from is maybe Lost Vacuum. I would not cut the Rare Candies, the Nest Balls, the Escape Ropes, the Switch Carts. Those are all locked in stone. Raihan might also be a flex spot, whether you want Thornton or Roxanne or Iono. I get that. My counter arguments to Iono is if you're playing that card, chances are you're in a pinch and things are not going well anyway. So don't let those 1 or 2 games or a handful of games really skew how you want to play this deck. You have to assume things are going to go moderately okay. and play for those. Right off the outliers, go from there. This is the last deck before 151. Love this freaking deck. So if you catch me on ladder or if you see me tweeting about it, this is what I'm talking about. Thanks. Until next time.